Let's do wildlife. Shout out Bill Camp.
Ah, yo, shout out Paul Dano. What was it for like the past 3 months we've been or 2 months we've been talking about these actors becoming directors? Jonah Hill, with mid '90s, Bradley Cooper with A Star Is Born, and now Paul Dano with Wildlife. 90 sitting at 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty impressive for a debut. Starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Carey Mulligan, Bill Camp, and Ed Oxenbould. He did a great job with a pretty difficult role, I'd say, for an actor his age. Yep. General thoughts about Wildlife. We'll talk spoilers because people can go see this now.
Yeah, it's funny because when I watched them, I went in knowing it was really well liked, and I knew Carey Mulligan was really good in it, which she is. And as I'm watching it, and then as the end, I was like, yeah, that was really great, And I have it. I think I have it in my top 15 on my movie list right now, maybe top 20. It's right there. And then it's like, it's not like I was super like maybe entertained is probably the right word. I wasn't like super like on the edge of my seat watching it, but the whole time I was just like appreciating what it was doing or trying to do. And then I thought about it a lot after I watched it, which I guess is just a roundabout way of saying I'm not sure I know what the point was, but I liked trying to figure it out,
So it sounds like what you're saying is like those wildfires. It was a slow burn for you.
Ah, God.
Check it out. There it is.
And it's funny because if you want to like go against the film, I think there are a lot of themes being explored. One of which is the theme of the fire, which comes back throughout every act of the movie. At the end of the day, you're just watching a marriage in what is it, the 50s,
60s? I think it's 1960.
Yeah, disintegrate through the eyes of a 14-year-old boy. That's really what the crux of it is, and it's based off a John Ford novel. It's the first John Ford novel to be adapted at all. There's been a lot of false starts with that. And yeah, I just think watching the emotion on Carey Mulligan's face and Jake Gyllenhaal to a certain extent as well was, it's not something we've got a lot this year. And I thought the way the movie ends, that was probably the most like on the edge of my seat for that, despite it not being something where a lot happens. It was a really well crafted movie, and yeah, I just appreciate what it was, even if I, maybe some of it went over my head.
Yeah, I think kind of what you talked about is I feel like this is a very like filmmakers movie. Like if you appreciate film and you really like the way stories are told, you'll appreciate this. If you really only like film to be entertained, I don't know if you're gonna be entertained the whole time because there are some down points of it. I mean, I think Mulligan's performance it's kind of crazy how she like toes this line between like being okay then like really not being okay so quickly. Like the whole scene at Bill Camp's house for dinner was like she was unbelievable in that scene. Not only like how quickly she was flip-flopping, but the way that she was using her face and her body to like get so much across. It was such like a physical scene for her, even though she did have a lot of speaking lines. I mean, Gyllenhaal, I was just thinking, like, has he been in any other movies this year? Then all of a sudden he pops up for this, like, kind of crazy because he's probably one of the most, I don't know about lauded, but he's up there in terms of people saying he's one of the better, like, skillful actors, and he's kind of just in the small movie.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, he was in Stronger last year, the Boston Marathon Survivor movie. He'll be in Spider-Man Far From Home and next summer, but I think this was it for this year, right? But yeah,
he's an interesting guy.
It's clearly a smaller role, and honestly, not the most likable character,
No.
So but I mean, that's also, I guess, what Gyllenhaal does is he really can jump around and show his range, and to a certain extent, that's what this was. Just playing honestly a kind of pathetic character.
Yeah, and the thing I think I appreciate most about it is just how Dano used the setting so effectively, like the whole drive out to the fires, with like the rolling mountains of the Rocky Mountains in the foreground, and just like framing the shots zooming in on Oxenhold's face when he's like looking at the fires. Just really really well done. And I think he's got a nice career ahead of him as a director. He's already been a pretty successful actor. I think where sometimes the movie does fall short, like you said, the point kind of goes over your head. I think at points, and you're trying to kind of figure out what's the real message that they're trying to get across here. And there might not even be a central message that they're trying to get across. It's more just telling a story and letting you take from it what you want. I also think that, like, for example, Bill Camp's character is, I think, like super realistic, but at the same time, like they don't necessarily explore certain parts of it that I think were really important. Like they basically made you believe, and you're seeing it through the boy's eyes, which makes a lot of sense, that this is his mom's new boyfriend, when really his mom was just being used in a lot of ways. And you don't really get that till the third act when Gyllenhaal goes to confront him. So I think some of that could have been told a little bit more directly, but overall I thought it was really well done. And it's probably like top 15, top 20 for me this year for sure. I mean, how many movies have we seen? Like 45 or so? You've seen like 60, right?
60,
so,
61. Yeah.
That's, you say like top 15, top 20, but that's actually like pretty good and a very strong movie year.
Mm-hmm.
Although Fantastic Beasts gonna push those all to the bottom, right?
I'm seeing it in Dolby Cinema. So
hey, Expecto Patronum. That movie's gonna need some help. It's sounding like